spend a lot of time watching YouTube like everybody else does, especially in our, you know, I don't have to use the name. And somebody that I follow, who I have occasional nice conversations, who featured a video game of poetry for me the other day. A video game. Put a link below as well. NUSensei out of Australia. And a couple of his archery reflections. One he made today was a little bit about mental health and our current circumstances in the world. And then the other one was about Western archery and Eastern archery. The cultures aspect of those things. Now I have a similar journey to archery journey as NUSensei, as I started out with target archery, though I switched to thumb draws much sooner than he did. I started shooting thumb draw back in 2013 with Korean style bows, though I've never shot Korean style archery ever. I've tried, but not really. It's kind of found my own path. But I kind of thought it was interesting and how we use the terms when we break up archery based on East-West cultures, like we do with most of our world. I was thinking about that, and I went, but that is kind of different. Because archery is a near universal culture. Like it's a near, this was invented in just about every culture or society we have. Now, it's a tool that was invented, and some of those cultures influenced other cultures who developed archery, and others developed it completely and utterly on their own, without any outside influence. Completely unconnected. Completely. Take a look at the people, the tribes in the Amazon. Take a look at the Plains people. Take a look at, you know, early Europeans and early Asians. They developed archery without any influence. Now this piece of technology was influenced by other societies, which is fine. That's how technology advances. Someone sees an idea, they take an idea, and they innovate that idea. But the basic technology was invented multiple times over, which is why we have such a variety in archery cultures and the influences of those cultures. So the popular and the academic method of defining our cultures, East and West, are accurate and interesting. But I was sitting here thinking to myself, but this is a Korean style bow, so it's a Korean design and part of the Korean cultural artifact, right? From where I'm physically standing right now, Korea's to the west. I'm east of them. Great Britain is east of me. So the longbow culture, or the longbow, I don't even know what to call it, but English archery is technically east of me. Now that's just, I'm just being, because that's where I'm sitting. I'm standing. From my perspective. But the Plains archery, which was common in the region where I'm standing, then we have the Innu to the north, and then ironically, if I continue going north and then start traveling south again, we get Asia and Russia. If I go south of me, well, we have the rest of the Americas. And then we have the United States of America, where modern archery, compound bows, for example. It's so, this whole perspective kind of had me thinking. Archery is very individualistic. And it's kind of difficult to define archery by cultural monolithic references like Eastern culture and Western culture. Because that Eastern and Western culture reference is Eurocentric and Asia-centric. Well, what about Africa? What about the Americas? What about the Asia-Pacific? Pacific region. All of these different regions have different archery traditions. And they also have archery traditions that have been influenced by these. So, do we feel safe in calling modern archery? So, since this bow is strung and I can reach it, this would be considered a modern traditional bow, manufactured in the United States of America, with a shelf, shot in a specific manner, generally 3 fingers, split. You can shoot 3 fingers under, 2 fingers. You can do whatever you want. But the conventional method of shooting it is 3 fingers under. In this case, you'd shoot this instinctive because there's no sights, though they could be added if I so choose, which I won't. Now, this is a short bow. It's actually shorter than the Korean bow because I have a natural affinity for short bows. But is this truly a Western bow, or is it a bow? Is it Eastern? Is it Western? Is it North American? Is it European? Is it Asian? Is it African? Is it South American? Is it Asia Pacific? Yes. It's all of them. We can have very specific cultures and cultural practices tied to archery. And there are many. But archery itself, the sport of archery, I would argue it's actually universal. And it belongs to the world. And each of these individual cultural aspects have contributed to make bows like this, or the Olympic recurves, or compounds. They're universal. They don't belong to just one culture. They belong to the world's culture at this point. And slowly but surely, so do these. Because this is made in a modern method. Can it really be claimed to be a Korean bow anymore? A Korean style bow? I don't know. Food for thought. Keep having fun.